Mamă, dar ce față am. Nu vă speriați prea tare, da? Nu o să fie primul lucru scary din seara asta. Sper. Hello, hello! Ce mai faceți?
Eu?
Da, ca de obicei, vreau să fac un mini jumpscare aici cu mine, dar nu-i reușești niciodată. Poate o să reușească, nu știu, în ce viață. Da.
Cum adică ce viață?
În ce viață vreau eu? Astăzi vom continua cu a doua parte a filmulețului. Filmulețelor. True Scary Horror Story.
All my years of being a police officer in Floyd County, Georgia, I had only experienced two horrifying situations. I'll share with you the worst of the two. It was a slow night, and I was patrolling the dirt roads in my cruiser. At this particular spot, there were tiny woods on both sides of the road. And then it all started. I spotted somebody jumping into the woods on the left. I only saw half of them though. They were gone so quickly. I pulled up closer and shined a spotlight into the woods. I didn't see them. Unfortunately, it was kind of my job to check on things like this, so I hesitantly stepped out from the car and began searching. In a moment like this, I was so ready to pull my gun, as I was actually terrified. And then, the cliched snap of a branch from behind a tree almost made me want to run back to the car, but I instead did my job and called for them to come out. Someone wearing a mask stepped out from the tree. I told them to raise their arms, take off their mask, and come to me slowly. They raised their hands, but they didn't remove the mask. I tried to demonstrate my authority by yelling this time, ordering them to take it off. They looked as if they were about to take it off. And suddenly, he or she looked to their left, and then back at me. I heard footsteps coming from my right. I drew my gun. I yelled as loud as I could for everybody to come out with their hands up. You may be thinking, why? Well, if you were in this position, in this setting, you would have been shitting yourself just like I was. Another person wearing a mask walked over. This one holding an axe. I had my gun locked on him. But suddenly, footsteps started coming from all directions. I looked around, and I was surrounded. There were at least 10 strangers wearing masks, surrounding me almost in a circle, with only an opening behind me. Half of them were armed with axes and the like. I stood there, gun raised, but not even aimed at anything at this point. I felt like I was gonna throw up. One of them finally broke the silence, telling me in a muffled, deep voice, "Go away." My heart dropped as he said this, in a way that I knew I was going to live. I turned and ran for the car, driving down the road half a mile, all while calling for backup. As you would guess, the whole group was gone from the woods when a search squad arrived. I have a theory on this, however. I believe that what I witnessed was some kind of fucked up secret society that was planning on trapping an innocent passerby, and I think that whoever jumped into the woods as I was passing recognized my car as a police car and tried to hide. Had I not been a police officer, I believe they would have stopped me, led me to the woods, and done whatever this group does for its sick kicks.
Băi, posibil.
Cu ce?
Îți zic mai acolo.
Mai.
It's 5 a.m. I'm about to pass out and my eyes are gradually getting heavier. But the sight of my girlfriend's face on Skype keeps me fighting to stay awake. We have been Skyping every night for the past 3 months. Long distance is a bitch, but I love her and I can't wait to hold her in my arms again. My eyes collapse for a mere moment. Babe, you're tired. Get some sleep. I sprang up. No, it's all good. I'm going to go make some coffee. I'll be right back. I left my screen illuminating in the dark room. I make my way down the stairs into my kitchen, where the kettle naturally belongs. I make my coffee and head back to the computer. I was greeted by the warm smile that I grew fond of. Welcome back, you macho man. My pet name. Hey, sexy, I replied. We always have this moment where we stare blankly at each other, like any normal couple would do. It was another sleepless, perfect night. That is, until my phone went off. As I make my way to reach my phone, I thought to myself, I wonder who it could be calling me at this hour. Could it be just my friend calling, wanting to chat? Do they need a place to crash? Or could it just be a wrong number?
Sau sună ea.
I looked at my phone. I froze. It was my girlfriend.
Eram
I
sigură.
quickly shifted my eyes back to the computer monitor
Aia
to
din
see if she
fața
was playing a trick
calculatorului
on
nu
me.
e.
But she just sat there, hands folded on her desk with that familiar grin. Maybe she butt dialed me or something, I thought. I answered. I heard an eerily, all too familiar voice on the other side. Hey babe, I'm sorry. I know it's really late. I just got home from Morgan's party. Are you awake? My body became
Oh
solid with
my
fear.
god.
Ce?
My eyes shifted upward to
El
my
vorbește cu
horror
iubita lui la
to see
telefon, dar
my
asta nu
girlfriend
iubita
staring back at me.
lui de la web.
Who are you? I yelped
Deci
in
tot
terror.
Taci.
What do you mean, sweetie? Her eyes became black
Ok,
as her
oh,
voice became deeper.
fuck it.
It's me. I placed my phone to my ear again. I tried to yell out
Sunt
to
eu pe
her,
trecu.
don't go in your room. But the fear held my tongue with a tight grip. Babe, don't. I whimpered. What did you say, babe? Sorry, I'm unlocking my door and I couldn't hear you.
Taci.
I sit in horror as the creature that took the form of my girlfriend sheds this bone-chilling, menacing grin
Gura tăiată.
Taci.
and turns its head to one side.
A venit coace.
Și vine femeia sa în casă.
Open the door. Both calls end abruptly.
The fuck?
Thanks for watching.
First, a little background information.
Vai, ce urât a
I
fost
worked the
ăla.
night shift at a local gas station when I was 19. I was the only employee in the store, as usual. On Christmas Eve, I had to work the overnight, 10 p.m. into 6 a.m. into Christmas Day. It was a normal night, no customers, and my cleaning was almost finished. I had just got done eating and decided to go out for a smoke when I hear someone walking towards the store in the distance. Now, this was nothing out of the ordinary until the person gets to the pumps and I can actually see them. It was a male, about 5'9" and somewhat thin. He was wearing a dark hoodie, jeans, and was carrying a gift bag. As he got closer, though, I noticed that he was bleeding from his forehead.
Oh,
As he approached me, I asked if he was okay and if he needed any help. I noticed that the bag was empty, which should have been my first red flag. The guy looked me in the eyes, looking dead inside, and said, "You want to help? Then don't call the fucking cops." I agreed and told him that there was a first aid kit inside and that I'd be happy to help him with his wound. Crazy, I know, but I was just trying to be nice to him since he was someone who could be a threat to me. We went inside the store and I got the first aid kit. As I pulled out the stuff for him to clean himself up with, he said he needed to use the restroom and once again told me not to call the cops. I told myself that if he wasn't out of the bathroom within a reasonable amount of time, I was going to call the police. He didn't come out, so I went outside and called. The dispatcher told me to stay out of the store and find somewhere safe to be until the officers arrived. I stood at the side of the store where he wouldn't be able to see me, but I could see if he came out of the bathroom. He never came out. The police arrived and asked where he was. I pointed and they went in. Just as they got to the door, he opened it and tried to lunge at one of the officers. They
vai.
tackled him, threw a knife that he was holding, and promptly arrested him. As they were walking him out of the store, he told me that I was lucky that the police got there when they did, and that he'd see me again soon. I was a little shook by
That's
that.
not good.
One of the officers
Yeah,
came to
but-
take my statement after the other took the guy away. I told the officer what had all happened, and then I asked something I really wish I didn't know the answer to. What was he doing in the bathroom? The officer told me that it was a good thing that I called when I did, because the guy had shot up some heroin in the bathroom, then was going to come out with a knife, stab me, and run with what money was in the register. That's what the bag
Eram
was for.
sigură.
This guy had a lot of problems and a lot of anger inside of him. The reason he was so angry was also the reason his head was bleeding. He owed his dealer money and got beat because of it. His solution to the problem was robbing the store. The officer told me if I didn't call when I did, I'd either be critically wounded or dead because he wasn't going to allow me to stand between him and that money. I hope I never see that crazy drug addict who wanted to kill me to free himself of debt again.
De ce s-a întâmplat? Ce s-a întâmplat?
This happened to a friend of mine. She told me about it about a year or so ago. We'll call her Minji. Minji is in her late 20s and works as an English tutor in South Korea. One evening, a few years ago, she was tutoring a high school boy. They were up studying pretty late and the buses stopped running. Being a long way from his house, the boy asked if he could crash on her floor overnight and get the first bus in the morning. Minji was very reluctant because inviting a teenage male student to stay the night didn't sound like a great idea, but he was begging her and eventually she relented. They went back into her one-room apartment and she got into the bed while he laid a blanket out on the floor and they both fell asleep. A few hours later, at maybe 2 a.m., the boy wakes Minji up. "I'm really hungry," he says. "Let's go get some food." Minji opens her eyes and looks up at him in disbelief. "Food? Now? It's 2 a.m. Go back to bed." But the student insists. "No, I'm so hungry. Let's eat something now." She tells him that there's some ramen in the kitchen and he could fix himself some. This doesn't satisfy him. He doesn't want ramen. "There's a 24-hour place just down the road. Let's go there." Eventually, after several minutes of persuasion, the boy gets Minji to come with him to the restaurant. They leave the apartment and head out. As soon as they're on the street, the boy turns to Minji and says, "I'm not hungry. I woke up in the middle of the night and looked under your bed. There's a man sleeping there."
Oh,
They call the police and discover that a homeless man had been living in Minji's apartment, sleeping under the bed for 2 months. The boy only saw him because he was lying on the floor, so he had a clear view under the bed.
fuck it.
Dar ce era?
Un om al străzii era în casă la femeia sub pat.
When I was a teenager, I was home alone one weekend and I was sleeping in my parents' room since there was a TV in there. Sometime around 2 a.m., I felt like I was being stared at from the direction of the hallway. I looked up and I saw a shadow person looking at me. It was weird because it was a pure man-shaped black mass and I could see him in the dark hallway. I'm guessing the light from the TV helped. I sat up and stared back, but I was terrified. We looked at each other for probably 5 seconds and then it turned around and walked down the hall. A few seconds later, I heard a loud crash. I was so scared I turned the TV to the Disney Channel and stayed awake for as long as possible. When I woke up the next morning, I walked down the hall to the bathroom. And that's when I noticed the mirror that was hanging had fallen off the wall and was shattered. My family still doesn't believe me, but I know what happened.
Fuck it.
Ce? Părinții au fost omorâți?
Nu.
Dar ce?
I went to the bathroom in the middle of the night after some nightmares and left my door cracked open before I got back into bed. When I fell asleep, I dreamt that I was outside my room. In the dream, I saw my door cracked open. I pushed it open and then saw myself sleeping. When I woke up, my door was wide open.
The fuck was that?
My friend told me about something that happened to her when she was younger, about 8 or 9.
Horrifying.
She was walking home from school and got her key out to let herself into the house. Her single mom worked and came home later on weekdays. As she reached up to put the key in the door, her mom opened it in a dressing gown, having left work sick. Instead of greeting her, she looked straight past my friend and immediately said, "Who are you?" My friend turned around, and a man in a long coat hurried back down the path and down the street.
Vai, urmărit-o.
Being ill that day had possibly saved her daughter from something potentially
Probabil o crezut
horrible
că e singura
happening to
acasă.
her.
What the fuck?
One day while doing my laundry, one of the lights blew out in my basement. My basement is set up so that the laundry room is split up from the other side of the basement with a wall and a door. In order to get upstairs, you have to exit the laundry room and go through the other part of the basement. So the light blew in the other part, not the laundry room. As it was the only light on that side, it was pretty dark. I finished the laundry I had to do while dreading the walk through the dark basement. I exit the laundry room, get halfway through the basement, and I hear a loud cackle. Imagine a sound people make when they imitate a witch. Take that and imagine the witch had been smoking for 50 years, making her voice deeper and hoarser.
Vai, ce urât.
That's what I heard, clear as day, right behind me. I didn't hesitate to bolt for the stairs. I waited until my father got home and then changed the bulb. I have yet to hear that cackle since, and I have not told a single person in the house about it.
Ok.
This happened to my dad when he was a little kid. I think it messed him up a bit emotionally, but he never admitted it. The story freaks me out just imagining it. So I'm pretty sure my dad was 10 years old, and he was home alone for whatever reason. He was watching TV in the living room. It was the only TV in the house, and all of a sudden, the TV just shut off. So he got up and turned it back on. It was a shitty TV, so it wasn't weird at all. When he got back on his couch, it happened again. He got up once again and turned the TV back on, and again it turned off.
The fuck?
He repeated this process a couple more times before he started to look for the remote. While looking for the remote, he walked over to check behind one of the couches and saw a man hiding in the corner, holding the TV remote. He described the man as having long, messy hair and a crazed look in his eyes. He gave my dad a smile, and my dad ran out the front door screaming like a little girl. He went to his neighbors, who called the police. The man was still in the house when the police got there, so he was arrested. My dad told me that he still assumes the man was either homeless or crazy. Either way, this story is downright terrifying.
Vai de capul meu, vai da urât-i, Doamne.
Thanks for watching.
Ok.
Da, zici, putem...
Da, deci, da, chiar îs creepy. Dar, în primul rând, nu-s creepy doar prin faptul cum sunt povestite, desenate sau prezentate. Îs mai creepy și horror în sensul că sunt adevărate. Deci oamenii care au trecut prin aceste chestii sărace și milă de ei. Dar, da, sper că v-a plăcut. Mie mi-a plăcut mult.
Nu uitați să apăsați butonul de like.
Poftim?
Buton de like, dați subscribe și un comentariu dacă v-a plăcut.
Știi lumea ce are de făcut, doar dacă dorești, bineînțeles, like, subscribe, comment.
Parcă ești englezaic.
Da. Anyway, veți găsi linkul acestui video în descriere și ne vedem la următoarele.